So I feel bad because in the last video, I mentioned, couldn't even remember the name of the formal fallacy, the undistributed middle, and realized that I don't really know what it is. And so therefore, how do I have any chance of catching myself doing it? So, and I'm always talking to people about learning the informal fallacies, learning the heuristics, all the things that the mind we've noticed systematically does wrong. The formal fallacies we also have noticed partly because they are things that we do. Of course, the difference between a formal fallacy and an informal fallacy. Formal fallacy is I'm recording my screen. A formal fallacy is where it actually violates a rule in the form. So if you take a argument, not an argument that you like hear, but if you take a logical argument, premises, and a conclusion, and then if you use symbolic logic and there is something, you know what, let's click on this. Okay, in logic and philosophy, a formal fallacy is a pattern of reasoning rendered invalid by a flaw in its logical structure that can neatly be expressed in a standard logical system. Um, it is defined as a deductive argument that is invalid, so the conclusion does not follow from the premises. Um, yeah, so where just a basic rule is broken. Um, an informal fallacy might be one where, wait, wouldn't an is the difference that for an informal fallacy it can't be neatly expressed in a standard logical system? A formal fallacy is contrasted with an informal fallacy, which may have a valid logical form and yet be unsound because one or more premises are false. Oh. Oh. Ah. So we've just learned something here. I. Okay. I didn't realize it was as simple as formal fallacy is a question of validity, informal a question of soundness. So then, what I said earlier about I talked about the importance of learning informal fallacies. That was wrong. No, I talk about formal fallacies. These violations of the rules that we don't notice that we do, and these violations often seem compelling. They seem truthful and real, but actually no, they break logical rules. Um, I'm not as actually interested in informal fallacies where the premise is just wrong. I'm interested in why you think that premise is true, and that may be because of a formal fallacy. So if you take that premise, make it the conclusion of something, and look at what the supposed underlying premises are, then you may find that you arrived at that premise unfairly. If the premise is just a piece of information, well, then it's just either you got the information right or wrong. The statistic is true or not, and that's not particularly interesting to me or on this channel. That is an issue that we'll have to figure out once we first talk about reason. Then we can actually be empirical. Facts can start to matter again once we've understood how we interpret those facts. Then you just plug in true stuff, and you get good conclusions. Okay, so that's cool. So we've learned that. So that's great. Okay, now, so the fallacy of the undistributed middle. It's a formal fallacy, so it violates form, and that's when the middle term in a categorical syllogism is not distributed in either the minor premise or the major premise. It is thus a syllogistic fallacy. Let's keep reading. In classical syllogisms, all statements consist of two terms and are in the form of either A, E, I, or O. So either the statement is all blank are blank, none, no blank are blank, some of blank are blank, or some of blank are not blank. The first term is distributed in A systems. So we have in this example here, Z and Y are our two terms. No, in this premise, our terms are Z and B, right? And the first term is Z, and it is being distributed in this all statement, this A statement. So the first term is distributed in A statements. All statements are A statements. So Z is being distributed in this statement. Okay? Y is being distributed in this statement. The second is distributed in O statements. Wait, no. I'm wrong about what's the first term and what's the second term. The first term, okay, all statements consist of two terms, and are in the form of A blah, blah, blah. This is a statement, right? Oh, or is the conclusion the statement? If you follow this channel and you like my ideas and you're good at logic and stuff, you might be like, oh gosh, is he not good at logic? All right, just bear with me. And no, I guess I'm not. No, and that's a stupid thing to say. It's just I'm just not reading this and understanding it as quickly as I would like, that's all. Okay. The first term is the second term. Okay. The fallacy of the undistributed middle occurs when the term that links the two premises is never distributed. So we have Z being distributed. In this example, distribution is marked in boldface. We have Z being distributed. We need B to be distributed. Right. Okay. So I think so that was true what I was saying about first term, second term. Okay, so our first term here is Z. It is being distributed because it is the first term in an A statement. The first term here is Y. It is being distributed because it is the first term in an all statement, in an A statement. Great. So we have Z distributed. We have Y distributed. Then we have our conclusion statement, which is another A statement distributing Y. Don't know whether that matters, because maybe all that matters is the premises, of course. Maybe, of course. And so we have B is supposed to be the linking between Z and Y, and that is never distributed. Okay, B is the common term between the two premises, the middle term, but is never distributed. This is called the fallacy of the undistributed middle. So this syllogism is invalid. B would be distributed by introducing a premise that states either all B is Z or no B is Z, because no B is Z would be an E statement, and in E statements, both terms are distributed. Okay, we're just kind of implicitly understanding this word distributed. Okay. Also, a related rule of logic is that anything distributed in the conclusion must be distributed in at least one premise. So here we had the Y being distributed in this conclusion. Y is distributed in the conclusion and not in any premise. So this syllogism is also invalid. Okay, very good. All right, so let's look at some examples. Or let's just go through this, the pattern. Oh, and then, the second, and then I'm going to stop recording once we've understood this. Well, once I have, anyway. I'm going to stop recording, and I'm going to try to think of an example in my thinking, something that I have said or thought, where I didn't distribute the middle, and that's the challenge. And the most important thing to do. Okay. The fallacy of the undistributed middle takes the following form. All A is B, y is b, therefore y is z. This may be graphically represented as follows. Y is a z. That's our conclusion. The support for that, all z's are b. Yeah. And the other support is y is a b. Okay. Where the premises are in the green box and the conclusion is indicated above them. Okay. B is the middle term because it appears in both premises and is not distributed in the major premise. All z is b. The major premise is just the first. Hey, buddy. What are you barking for? He's just here by the vehicle. Good boy, Neo. Stay quiet. Hey, Neo, don't worry about him. Neo, don't worry about him. Come on, buddy. Come here, buddy. Okay. That's just the town dog, Neo. Come on, buddy. You're killing me, dog. Oh my gosh. Do you want to come over and hang out? Yeah, I'm recording right now. I'm recording. Can you It's okay, buddy. Good boy. Good whatever. Oh boy. Okay, back to it. Oh, I'm recording my screen too. Okay. Okay. It may or may not be the case that our conclusion, that this major premise, the support here, that may or may not be true. That's irrelevant to the conclusion. What is relevant to the conclusion is whether it is true that all B is Z. We have to distribute that middle. We have to distribute B. And that's completely ignored in the argument. Okay. All right. For example, all students carry backpacks. My grandfather carries a backpack. Therefore, my grandfather is a student. So your major premise is all students carry a backpack. Your minor premise is my grandfather carries a backpack. You have not distributed the backpack. Yeah, you have not distributed the backpack to students. So what it's missing is this here. Everyone who carries a backpack is a student. Why is there an X here? That makes it valid though, right? I mean, yeah, it would make it valid, yeah. So the linking thing is the backpack. So all students carry backpacks, okay. So now we've got this middle of backpack. And then we need to distribute the backpack to grandfather. And we can do that by saying everyone who carries a backpack is a student. So now backpack has been distributed to... No. Sorry. My grandfather carries a backpack. My grandfather carries a backpack. You've now distributed grandfather. So could you also do all grandfathers? No, all. You've distributed grandfather. So you have your middle of backpack. All right, let's just read the explanation. The middle term is the one that appears in both premises. And it's carrying the backpack. In this case, it is the class of backpack carriers. It is undistributed because neither of its uses applies to all backpack carriers. We've done students and we've done grandfather. Right, okay. Okay. Right. So we've got students, studs, gran. Okay. And here's the backpack. This is the backpack carriers. So we know that students are among the backpack carriers and my grandfather is among the backpack carriers. And then we're trying to say that therefore my grandfather is a student. We can't do that because we haven't established that. Now, if you say that everyone who carries a backpack is a student, then what you've done is you go AKA students. You're saying everyone who carries a backpack is a student. So, okay. So then we can erase this. And we realize that the whole student circle is this whole circle. Because we said everyone who carries a backpack is a student. And then now we see grandfather is in the student circle. Oh, shit. Oh, ¿cómo? No, es el perro de ciudad. Lo veo, lo he visto ayer, todo el día. Creo que es normal. ¿Eh? I used to be that guy who every time I saw a dog unattended, it's like, oh, who's this dog belong to? Except not in Spain or Portugal. Or I've learned in the country in France. We're not in Madrid here. Just the town dog, I think. But I guess there's no harm in checking. But she just didn't seem to be receptive to what I was saying. That's normal. I've been seeing that dog just walk around. It doesn't look lost. It's just... there we go. See? This guy's like, what do you guys want with my dog? Where's the dog in question? Oh, there he is. Yeah, leave him alone. All right, so okay, so we get that. So the backpacks thing is supposed to be our linking thing, but we have to distribute it to one, meaning we have to say that it is identical to one. Oh yeah, because actually, of course, student. You could also you could say that this is students, right? Because not all students carry backpacks. Just all... Oh no, it is all students carry backpacks. That's why it was inside. Okay, great. So it is so the middle term, blah, blah. So the backpacks before wasn't distributed because neither of its uses, student or gran, applied to all backpack carriers. So before, when we had this, students, we hadn't said that either of these applies to all backpack carriers. Okay. So it couldn't be used to connect students and my grandfather, blah, blah. Note below how carries a backpack is truly undistributed. Grandfather is someone who carries a backpack. Student is someone who carries a backpack. Student carries backpack. Grandfather carries backpack. Great. However, if the latter two statements were switched, the syllogism would be valid. Right. So if we switched the minor premise and the conclusion, it would be valid. We would have all students carry backpacks. So we'd have our backpack circle. We have all students fit into this class of backpacks, carriers. Then we have my grandfather is a student. So we have my grandfather fits into the student thing. So therefore, my grandfather carries a backpack. Yeah, great. All right, so much easier. Okay, great. So in this case, the middle term is the class of students. So this circle, class circle, this circle of students. And the first use clearly refers to all students. Clearly all students fit into here. It is therefore distributed across the whole of its class. Yeah, okay. And so can be used to connect the other two terms, backpack carriers and my grandfather. Grandfather is a student and thus carries a backpack. It is therefore distributed across the whole of its class. Oh, right. The carry backpacks. I am getting a little bit confused by these words distributed and stuff, but we get the basics, and maybe it'll be clear if I can think of an example from me. Okay, excellent. So this I get. Okay, I'm not sure I get all those words there. But this I do understand. I hope you do as well. I don't know why you spent this much time on it with me. I guess we were just hanging out, and I appreciate it. All right, bro. Suppose I say to you, I don't know that I could think of an example from my actual thoughts, but maybe this is. No, I don't think this is something I believe. But suppose I say to you, all. So we have an A statement here. All thinking is biological. So now what I've done is I said all of thinking is biological. And then suppose I say some which is an I statement. Some thinking is consciousness. So I've said, because I haven't said only some thinking is consciousness. So I said some thinking is consciousness. So that's this bit here, of course. Therefore, all consciousness is biological. Then the conclusion that this is invalid, this argument, but the conclusion supposedly is whereas in reality, all that's necessitated by the premises is is this. Because I didn't distribute the middle of thinking. Because in an I statement, there is nothing being distributed. Okay, because remember, I'll do a screenshot for you here. Okay. Okay, very good. So then in order to make this a valid argument, I would have to say all consciousness. So then in order to make it valid, all consciousness is thinking. Now we've distributed consciousness. Wait. All consciousness is thinking. I feel like this doesn't work, but it should. If I say all consciousness is thinking, I'm going all consciousness belongs to thinking. And we already said all thinking is biological. Therefore, biological, thinking, consciousness. Therefore, all consciousness is biological. So that should work, right? Now, this doesn't mean that my conclusion is true, because it might be an informal fallacy. One of the premises here may itself be false. Maybe I am wrong to say that all thinking is biological or all consciousness is thinking. All right, but why doesn't, so I distributed thinking. Oh, that's the middle. That's all I needed to distribute. I distributed thinking. And then in the conclusion, I'm distributing consciousness. So in at least one of these premises, I have to distribute consciousness, and I do with this A statement of consciousness. Okay. All right, that's fun. I'll try to. We definitely understand the thing now. I don't know that I could do it without drawing it out. So next time I find myself, are there other forms of this besides? No, because syllogisms, it's all about like these associations, saying that these are this and therefore this is this. Okay. Okay, great. So I will, next time in a video that I present a syllogism, and I should try to actually do that. If I make a claim, try to actually use these terms, say all of this is this, blah, blah, blah is blah, and therefore blah, blah is that, blah. And then I'm going to have to do it graphically, distribute the middle, all that stuff. Make sure it's distributed. All right, that's fun.